In one of my previous videos, where I spoke about how to deal with feeling inadequate, I promised to do a separate video about reasons for feeling not good enough. So here goes. Welcome to another video. Does understanding why we feel the way we do serve any purpose? Yes, it does. Acknowledging that there is a problem and understanding the reasons behind it helps us find proper solutions more easily. So, here are the reasons. The order listed here is not based on priority. All of them are equally important. First, damaged self-image. All of us have an image about ourselves. According to scientists, for most of us, this image is an inflated image of ourselves. But sometimes, for some people, certain part of this image might be broken or damaged due to certain experiences in their lives. These experiences might have been associated with negative emotions like regret, guilt, hurt, grief, loneliness, feeling unloved, or feeling undeserved, depending on the situation. Minor, even insignificant incidents in our present life may trigger a memory and a cascade of related emotions. This uncertain image of self is one of the reasons for someone to think that they are less than they really are. Second, negative life experiences. Negative and toxic life experiences like bullying, various forms of abuse, abandonment, and bereavement that someone had to face not only as a child but also as an adult are the common reasons for someone to feel that they are not good enough. These experiences don't have to be prolonged or repeated. Also, the possible impact would be greater if the relevance is more to someone's life. If the experience was something like criticism or a betrayal from a trusted person, the associated negative emotions would have a greater impact on you. Sometimes children are overly sensitive to criticism. A careless remark by an adult, like a parent, coach, teacher, or a guardian, might have an impact on a certain area of a child's life. These may lead to damage in self worth, persisting even into adult life, leading them to think that they are not good enough. Most of the time, the problem is not identified by the adults and the child grows up with mental barriers. Third, neglect and emotional detachment of parents. Another thing that could damage the self worth of children is neglect. A child who was not loved, valued, and appreciated grows up thinking that they don't deserve these things. Another factor that is damaging to a child is the emotional detachment of parents. This leads to children growing up into insecure and fearful adults who are feeling they are not good enough. Fourth, perceiving common situations as threatening. Not only humans but also animals are designed to detect threats and respond fast. Our brains are more sensitive to perceived threats than animal brains are, as learning from experiences and mentally categorizing situations are more prominent in our brains. Scientists have found out that we react strongly to and generally avoid what we have programmed into ourselves as bad. But as adults, sometimes we push ourselves to change our threshold for avoiding bad and threatening situations, to face problems and do what we have to do. This stepping out of the comfort zone can be psychologically draining. If we don't have someone supportive around, we end up with a lot of self doubt. Even if we handle the situation remarkably well, our mind is affected by the threatening nature of the situation. As a result, we end up feeling that we are not adequate. The result is us resorting to reassurance seeking behaviors. Fifth, personal attitudes. Our personal values and attitudes also contribute a lot towards feeling inadequate. Someone who has an unforgiving nature might harbor unresolved guilty feelings without understanding that mistakes are common in everyone's life. Also, if you are used to judging yourself harshly, and focusing on your weaknesses, you would start feeling that you are not measuring up. Sixth, thinking that you belong to a stigmatized group. Another reason is perceived or real belonging to a stigmatized group. This can lead to feelings of being singled out, discriminated, and inadequate. But it is important to remember that sometimes these feelings are dependent on the ideas of self worth in these circumstances. Seventh, persistent personal problems. Persistent financial and personal problems might make someone feel that they are not good enough. Sometimes we try to cope with these problems by only being optimistic and blaming external sources for our problems without trying to solve them constructively. This could lead to failures. If you don't have a realistic idea and assessment about your own capabilities, skills, circumstances, and a plan of action when faced with problems, self doubts, and feelings of not being good enough can come up. 8. Spotlight effect. Psychologists describe the spotlight effect, which says that we think that others' attention is focused on us. The amount of attention we assume others pay to us is exaggerated. Even though we are aware about ourselves and our emotions and our life, others don't see it, and most of the time they don't care. They are not interested in how we are doing. Even if we make mistakes or do not follow protocols, others might forget them or they would not notice. It is our mistaken beliefs about others noticing us, others judging us, and we thinking that we have messed up that cause distress and make us feel that we are not good enough. 9. Comparisons with others. Comparing ourselves with others, their successes as we see it, and their happiness as perceived by us can make us feel that we are not good enough. Please remember that we are coming to conclusions based on the available information, based on what they have disclosed. We have no idea about their struggles or inner battles. Also, the overly cheerful, confident, self-assured nature is an act some people put up to cover their own insecurities. So these success stories that we hear frequently should not lead us to think that we are not good enough. 10. Low self-esteem and self-doubts. If someone's self-esteem is low, they tend to let their internal chatter get out of hand, suggesting possible negative aspects about self-image. Someone who has a low self-worth is more sensitive to negative outcomes. So thoughts of self-doubt are always distracting them. Also, low self-worth, which is a result of scars left by toxic life experiences, makes a large contribution in developing feelings of inadequacy in these circumstances. Scientists have found out that people with low self-esteem are more affected with negative social feedback than the ones with normal self-esteem. Also, even if you are a person with high levels of self-esteem, if it is fragile in the face of challenges and consequently in need of constant reassurance, again, this can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Another important matter is feelings of being not enough or not measuring up when associated with a low self-esteem could be both a reason for or a consequence of anxiety or depression. When it is a consequence, particular attention needs to be paid, as it can again act as a reason and go on as an endless circle of feeling not good enough. Please subscribe, share, like and comment on this video. That would really help us with this channel. Have you come across other reasons for feeling that you are not good enough? Why is it important to know that you are good enough? When you become confident that you are good enough, that gives you the strength to be better in whatever you want to do. Also, it makes you strong enough to be the best you can be if that is what you want. The spotlight effect was something I was going through for years until I understood what was going on thanks to my education. Still, with all the insight I had, I used to resort to reassurance seeking behaviors with my husband, as I mentioned in a previous video. But understanding the reasons and developing an insight were the first steps towards healing and finding inner peace. I hope this video would help you to find your inner peace. Thank you for watching.